Coming up next on the Mental Health Matters with Marty show, this is our final edition of Superheroes of the Pandemic, and we have some amazing community partners out there doing the job. I got a new intro. Check it out. What's up, everybody? Hey, what's going on? Hey, my name is Martina Sellers. I am your mental health hygienist coming to you live and in living color from Southern California. I would say where the sun is always shining, but listen, we having some great weather. We want to show some love and support to all of you out there in Texas. Listen, I'm not knowing how you're doing it, but God bless you. Stay encouraged. We definitely, you are in our thoughts and prayers, because I don't know. I might have to start packing my bags and getting the hell up out of Texas, y'all. But listen, we got nothing but love for you. I am so excited. If you have been joining us for these past 3 weeks, now 4 weeks, we have been talking about superheroes of the pandemic, and we have been saluting Black therapists, mental health workers, essential workers who have been doing the thing out there day in and day out, doing their niching and etching their part of this a great thing that we've been doing. And I'm super excited to have these amazing men on here. Listen, yes, I've only had one woman on here, but I want to celebrate men. Why? Because we don't often celebrate Black men doing the thing and doing what they love doing, and that is helping people. And we want to expel and stop the stinking thinking and the maladaptive thoughts that we have about Black men doing the work. Yes, as a Black male therapist, I only represent 1%. I said it. Yes, we only have 1% of us that look like us doing the work. But we have some amazing people here today that I'm excited about. So let me just put this disclaimer in. Listen, we are not a substitute for therapy. We want you to go see your therapist. Yes, if you don't have one, call and find one. We are simply a supplement to what you're already doing. We want to help supplement you in your mental health and wellness journey. So listen, we love to have you, but if you're definitely experiencing any emotional crisis or anything like that, we strongly urge you, go to your nearest 911 or urgent care, because we are so concerned. We want to stop the stinking thinking about mental health and awareness in our community, in our Black community. So I'm here to let you know we got some exciting people here on tonight. Listen, drop and invite people into this party line tonight, because we got it on and we are popping. So listen, without any further ado, I'm going to bring in our guests. Two of them are no stranger to us, but I'm so glad to have this other gentleman. I'm going to go backdoor my way in first. First, from here in the La La Land, he's doing his thing, as he got so many titles now that I can't even count them all. What he's doing great work with APLA in Los Angeles. That's AIDS Project Los Angeles, and he is getting his doctorate. Listen, we're going to have to soon call him Dr. Morrison, and I'm so glad to call him not just only a friend, but he is doing the work of so many in our communities and helping to expel the shame behind HIV, AIDS, as it pertains to young Black men that's across this country. So welcoming again to the Mental Health Matters with Marty show, none other than soon to be Dr. Donta Morrison. What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Glad when I become a doctor, you can finally just say doctor.
Man, listen, I say all that.
Like 2 years.
I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that, man.
I am so proud of you. Why? Because listen, yours is not honorary, meaning you are doing the work, you're going to class, you're writing the papers, you're doing the dissertation, you're arguing, you're still doing the work in the community. See, everybody loving it. See, Dr. Donta, Dr. Morrison. Listen. Right,
some of us, thank you.
Some of us can't even spell Dr. Seuss, let alone Dr. Morrison. So, right, man, how you doing?
I am blessed. In spite of it all, I am blessed. I am still here, and I'm just glad to be here tonight. This is a phenomenal topic, and I think it's important to have these discussions, especially amongst Black men, because people see us in positive lights where we're just having good dialogue. Only thing that gets shared is, just the negativity.
There's a
lot of us out there that are doing the work, that are trying to build bridges and just change the climate. So yeah, let's do it.
Exactly.
Let's get into
Yes,
it.
yes, yes. Excellent. It's always good seeing you. I'm gonna bring in the other guests as well. So my other guest in there, he came in here. He did this amazing thing. I'm a superhero fan, and so he did this on our Black group with. See, everybody talking about Donta Morrison, Dr. Morrison. If you're nasty, wow, come on, Kwame, really, really.
I love Kwame.
But this brother, listen, we were doing this thing. I met him on Black Male Therapists, a group that we have several of us have met on, and he did this challenge to us, our favorite superheroes. And I see he's got on his superhero shirt tonight. But come on, we want to welcome none other than Mr. Deon himself. Deon, what's going on, man?
Hello, good evening. Glad to be
Good
here.
evening. What's going on with you? How you feeling out there in Maryland?
I'm feeling great. It was a little cold earlier today, but
Right.
I swim through all of this snow and ice.
Yeah, man, good to see you. You know, I didn't know if I wanted to wear my superhero shirt for you or my hat, and I left it in my car for my next guest that I am so excited to have him for the very first time. Hopefully not the last time. Listen, this brother is doing such great work. He does stuff, and I've been following him. I've been secretly kind of stalking him from a fan point of view with this, because he's just, those therapists who are just real, raw, to the point, because that's what we need in our communities and everything. He's been doing this for some time in the DMV, and I'm so excited to have him on here for the very first time. None other than the misunderstood social worker himself, Mr. Joseph Williams. What's up, Joseph?
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for having me. We've been talking about this for a very long time.
We
so
have.
I'm excited to be here, and I'm amongst my people, so it feels really good. I'm happy to be here with everybody.
Yes, but and you never fail to disappoint. How many hats do you have, Joseph?
The ones in storage, or you want me to count?
Both.
I have about 60 hats. Of this style, this came from London, and so I actually these hats were given to me as gifts from a designer who actually made them for Pharrell and everything. So I wore one hat, and they started sending me emails, and I'm like, who the hell are these people hitting me up?
Right.
So she ended up, I guess she saw a picture, was like, hey, do you want this one, or do you want this one? Do you want this, or do you want that? So that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not a brand ambassador, but I did put on someone else's hat, and she told me, do not wear that hat again. So,
okay. Well, if she gonna keep sending the hats,
But I got it from my grandfather. I call it my thinking caps. So
love it. Love it. And I love your stories that you always talk about with your grandfather. And we're going to definitely jump into some of those things, because I know he's one of your own personal superheroes in your life with that. But listen, I wanted to do this series because I wanted to salute particularly Black men and what we do, because there's so many of us out there doing the work that go unrecognized. We saw it even with the Capitol Police, and forgive me as I'm losing those names of those Capitol Police who were standing there, who still defended our nation in the midst of being called niggas and all this other stuff, and they still stood for democracy. And I think there's so many Black men and women out there doing what we do, especially in this climate of social unrest, toxic demonstrations of masculinity. Can we just go right there? Sexism, racism, and everything. But I'm going to start, Donta, with you. What drives you to do what you do day in and day out, especially with dealing with a population dealing with HIV and AIDS? Because we in the Black community, we still don't talk about it.
Right.
We still think it's like the plague, like we should be walking around like back in the, unclean, leprosy,
Right.
with that.
Shame.
Yeah. And what motivates you to do that day in and day out and still take ridicule when people don't understand what you do, and the love that you have too? Because can we be honest, we take a lot of ridicule for what we do. People talk about us. What motivates you to do what you do, Donta?
Honestly, what motivates me are the stories that come out on the other side. Basically, when I mentor an individual and just see them turn for the better after being marginalized, oppressed, bullied, whatever the case may be, for so long,
Right.
and has given up hope, they've given up hope. And it takes
Yes.
a lot to kind of rebuild that individual. So despite what society may say or what kind of ridicule may come my way, I have so many success stories out there that are doing,
Right.
you know, because I believe that we got to begin to pass these torches. Oftentimes we don't really affirm the leaders in our community.
Right.
And then when
Right.
they get burned out, they just get cast off to the side, and they get a case of the efforts. Like, if y'all don't care, I don't
Right.
care more either. But thankfully, I have been able to impart, you know, just that desire and the fire that I have about community change into so many
Yes.
young leaders, and seeing them, you know, push the agenda forward is why I continue to do it, because I want to be in good hands when I get older.
Come
You know,
on.
I'm 1 year 50, and I don't want to be, you know, 60 years old talking about I got to keep on doing it because I didn't leave a legacy. No, I'm
Right.
to push the next generation to know that, yo, y'all not by yourself. I got your back. Let's
Right.
ride together. But it's gonna come a time where Papa gonna have to sit down because his knees done gave out, his back hurt, you know, he's tired. You know,
Yeah.
so that's why I really do what I do, because I know that for a lot of us, it seems like there was a lapse in the work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know, I'm looking at, you know, a lot of my teen years and my 20-year-olds, those years, it was a lot of stuff that I wish I could have gotten from the elders before me.
Right.
I could have
Right.
avoided certain pitfalls. So I'm trying to give back so that next generation won't become a bunch of angry, frustrated, pissed off men
Yep.
that
Right.
felt isolated and abandoned. I'm like, no, you're gonna have at least one good, solid role model. If that's just me, I'm gonna show you there's a lot of us out there that care about you. So that's really why I do what I do.
Yeah, yeah, and I see. Right, exactly. I see you, Joseph, nodding your head like, yeah, come on. Why do you do what you do? It's, you know, in the DMV, and you show so much love, and especially being a social worker in that, because, you know, we see so many of our kids being removed, and we have that bitterness because the system's not built for us. But why do you do what you do?
Okay, so you know, by license, I am a social worker, but I am a therapist.
Right.
And so I think that the major part, and I was always going to keep this to myself. There was a time where me and my brothers, we actually had a stint in foster care before our grandparents stepped
Okay.
in. And so one of the most amazing people that I met when I was 9 years old was a social worker by the name of Gary Beasley in the San Francisco Bay Area, where I'm originally from.
Right.
And he was a young black man, social worker. He came around. He made sure that, you know, because I was placed with him around 4 years old because my mom was having some issues, and so he stuck around up until I turned 18 years old.
Wow.
And so he was one of the most positive, most beautiful black men that I'd ever seen in my life, who had a great influence and inspiration on me. He took me to plays. He introduced me to Donta Morrison. So when it came down to choosing what I wanted to do, I just knew that my grandfather is a former Black Panther. He's really heavy in the community. I knew that everybody that I had interfaced with as a child were either into politics or serving the community. So when it came down to me thinking about what I wanted to do, I thought about Michael Jackson and I thought about my grandfather. And so, humanitarian. I want to help people. So just to know that there are people just like me, and if I was to be very upfront, in my community, the LGBTQUIABCDEFG, I noticed that when I started the Misunderstood Social Worker online, I noticed a lot of BS online, and I'm not going to curse. I'm sure curse on your platform.
You're all right. You're all right.
Okay. Well, I noticed a lot of bullshit on social media, and I noticed that there were a lot of angry people who had major platforms who were only speaking to the angry and broken sentiments of gay people. And I felt like there wasn't enough stuff out there that was digging deep, you know, and with all due respect to my brother, you know, I felt like, you know, sucking and fucking is cool, but I'm tired of talking about PrEP. I'm tired of talking about these things. Let's flip the condom inside out and look at what's inside of it and talk about, let's do that inward work. So when I started doing that, I didn't know that people would receive it. One of my first supporters was Miss Lawrence. And Miss Lawrence was like, well, if you feel like ain't nobody listening, child, say what you want to say. And so I just started speaking my truth. And so I noticed that with that came a huge responsibility. My
Mm-hmm.
life completely turned around. I was asked to come out and speak and heal people and do groups
Right.
and a bunch of other stuff that took me outside of Washington, D.C. So
Yeah.
my goal is to see beautiful Black men who look like me to say thank you, or I needed that healing. So that's what I do.
I love it. I love it. That's why you and Dante got to get together. Dante, you got to bring him on out here to La La Land when he come out here next.
For sure.
Deon, you know, and I love it that doing the superhero. What motivates you to do what you do, and why we're in this? Because there's not a lot of therapists, social workers, community activists who look like us in that as well.
Sure. I think my original passion and burden was birthed out of traumatic childhood experiences.
Mm-hmm.
For me, just kind of growing up and developing in a broken home, abusive family system, absent father. What happened was, I think somewhere around the time I was kind of like late adolescence, I started wanting to primarily initially kind of help teens and young adults, so that teens and young adults who were going through what I had gone through, or you know, similar life stories, could have somebody to talk to. Now, in my case, even though I had a challenging family system and background, there were male mentors who kind of grabbed me and took me under their wings early.
Right.
Really pushed education heavily. And so what happened was, when I went through, let's see, where was I? I was in one school for my undergraduate, and I was initially majoring in computer science, but it just wasn't a good fit. I took one psychology class.
Okay.
One, and became incredibly interested. The teacher was horrible, but the material was great. So I started wanting to grow and learn more. And the more I started to study and learn and grow in psychology, I started to understand, you know, more of who I was and who I was becoming, like a wounded healer of sorts.
Okay.
So with that being said, I started working with teens, young adults, their family, and then it kind of migrated to adults. So for me, I know now explicitly that what I have to do and who I am and my reach and my influence is all a part of the gifts that I've been given and the calling that's on my life.
Yeah. Love that. Because this definitely is a calling. It definitely is not something that we enter into. Don't you love that? Because it really is. We don't become millionaires because of this, in this regards. But we do it because we love it. Let's go. Who are your Who are your superheroes that you go to, who have definitely been not only in your corner, but you know, especially we as Black men. Listen, we've had some rough times. You know, I'm a graduate of UC Berkeley, so I was the only one that looked like me in my psychology class. In fact, when I kept going, that doesn't happen in my community. That doesn't happen in Black. The professor looked at me and says, "Mr. Sellers," I'm like, "Yeah." I'm thinking, Joseph, I'm about to get some accolades. She goes, "I wrote the book." I was like, you know what? Touche. Let me get my Black behind up out of here. But Dante, who have been your heroes and your heroes that have definitely helped push you along the way, that you found encouragement and hope from?
One of them was actually my boss, Terry Smith. I mean, just to have someone who supported me through all of my academic endeavors and just worked with me. You know, a school schedule can be very hectic, and I got all of my degrees while I still work for the same organization. And he really encouraged me and pushed me to do that. Then I have friends like you who really push the mental health aspect that I can go to when I felt like just jumping off the roof because I was sick of writing, going to school, sick of my job, sick of the community, sick of Black folks, sick of gay folks, just sick. And I think that was helpful as well. And then lastly, most important, you know, my bishop, you know, having that spiritual base and having a path I can go to really give me that spiritual advice, you know, to tap into all the aspects of me. So just it's been a great collective of individuals, of Black men that have poured into me, but helped me just sustain my peace, as I this journey, because every day I'm learning, every day I'm growing, and every day I'm seeing something new that I can improve on within myself. I have not reached the mountaintop. I don't plan on reaching the mountaintop, because when I get there, I'm ready to go. So I lean on who I can that's going to give me the affirmation I need in that moment.
Yeah. Joseph, what about yourself? I know you were talking about this amazing social worker who's been in your life, and then also your grandfather. Are you frozen there? Maybe he is there. Yes. Okay, Deon, I'm going to toss it over to you. Deon, who has been your inspiration that has helped you throughout your life and been there for you? Who you would call your superhero?
Sure. So growing up for me, there was a number of males that kind of came my way to kind of help shape me and help me swim through, like I said, a lot of the childhood stuff. But two people in particular. One was an elder at my church he's a pastor now. His name is John Robertson. He pretty much took me and put me up under his wing. He had about 5 kids of his own. But he would, spend a lot of quality time with me, picking me up, taking me home from services, just having long talks with me, seeing what's going on in my life. What am I thinking? What am I doing? Behaviors. He was also, and he still does to this day, even though I'm my age. He was also a voice of rebuke and reprove.
Right.
As a teen and a young adult. And also I will add to that, my bishop here in Baltimore, I've been under him since I was 11 years old.
Okay.
So we have a very, very strong father-son relationship.
Right.
every aspect of a father-son relationship. So we've our relationship has definitely been forged in the fire and stood the test of time. But he's been very influential in my life in helping push me and develop me.
Right. Appreciate that. Definitely, Joseph. So Joseph, we're saying, who has been the heroes in your life? I know you talked about that amazing social worker who was there, and what I love is your fond memories and what you talk about with your grandfather. Love every time you post something about him, because I kind of have that. My grandfather was my protector as well. So who else have been some and your heroes in your life?
Of course, my grandfather, who is my pastor, and also primarily, wow, it's so many people, and it's so funny because out of those two men, there is a woman by the name of Wandy Lawson, who was my 8th grade teacher from Howard. And I met her, and she taught me about the Moors and blackness and everything else. Yeah. And she kind of echoed the sentiment. She taught me about HBCUs, and I ended up going to them. And so, as well as a woman by the name of Eva Goodwin, that was a huge influence on me when I got to Tuskegee, who taught me about the field of social work. And she's actually from Los Angeles, but she ended up being my professor. Okay. So absolutely amazing woman. And they taught me that you are a strong Black man. People will judge you. People will have an inclination of you. But what you do, you always dispel the myths. And everybody needs to see that there's somebody out there that's loving, that's genuine, that's beautiful, that's cultured, that can be healed, delivered, and set free. So it's your turn. That's
That's amazing. And we need those. How do we help our and I'm going to go right here. How do we help Black men today who have this target, I would say that, on their back of being the first ones accused, or the first one that are targets of everything from racial injustice to socioeconomic injustice? How do we help encourage Black men who we know are going through a lot of challenges today? And how do we push and help them to make it through some difficult times? Because I don't know about you, I've had to call some of my own therapists, Joseph and Deon, that I said, listen, I'm about to lose it today. Yeah. And I need you to kind of help talk me off the ledge. with that. Dante, how do we help Black men today, especially some of the Black men that you have to deal with and that you're helping to mentor?
One thing that I am realizing is that we have to understand the intersection at which a lot of Black men live. You know, for myself, being a Black gay man creates a different kind of dynamic for my existence.
Sure.
You know, because on one hand, I am Black through and through. I'm 100% Black. My fist is raised up, but I cannot ignore the other side of me that is also related to a community that is marginalized, oppressed, and whatever case may be. So when I hear like, well, we need to go down here and riot and rally about this situation, I'm like, yeah, but I'm still traumatized by what happened in the gay community the day before. So while you guys are over here, you know, talking about this and you know, throwing Molotov cocktails and whatnot, you don't realize that I was just doing the same thing 2 days ago, you know, with members of the LGBT community because we lost a Black trans woman. You know, a young Black gay man to you know, homophobia or whatever. So it's like we have to figure out how do we help the man that is being pulled in all these different directions.
Yes.
It's like me being gay. Yes, I get it. I felt the entire George Floyd situation. I felt that 100%. But I also felt the trauma that swept through the Black gay community in LA when Ed Buck was killing young Black gay men by meth, you know, and that's what the overall Black community did not get involved with. So it's like, as a Black gay man, I'm dealing with issues in my gayness, my Black gayness, I'm dealing with issues in my Blackness. So which one of me do you want to sit and try to help first? And I think that's something that we need to begin to ask, you know, Black men in general. Which part of you is being challenged the most? Because for some of the issues that we see with Black Lives Matter, they may like, yeah, I feel that, but that's not the zenith of what I'm going through right now. You know, that's not the pinnacle of what I'm dealing with. And all these layers of trauma, I need somebody to help me unpack all of this. And until we allow Black men to really verbally express all the different areas of their life, challenge and trauma and triggers, we're going to just be scratching the surface. I mean, barbershop talk is one thing because it's women, chicks, drank money. Women drank money. Women drank, that's the barbershop.
And sports.
Yeah, and sports, you know, but it's some other stuff that Black straight men are dealing with that we still do not talk about. And we have to get to a place where we can be safe enough to purge all that to each other without pointing that shame finger.
Yeah, you know, Aisha Boyd says this way. She says it's an excellent question, and as a community, we should continue to have this platforms like this to help educate and inform our Black men on how to navigate in these trying times. Joseph, how do we navigate in these trying times? What are you seeing, and how do you keep your own sanity during these times?
I hope that I'm not muted because I'm having some weird issues going on. Am I good on you guys' end?
You're good on I hear you. We hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to kind of piggyback off of okay. This is what I was taught, this is what I know, and this is what I believe. When we touch disenfranchised groups, when it comes to black, gay, any disenfranchised group or the most vulnerable groups, if they are assisted, everybody benefits in the end. And so I think that we always have to keep in mind that we're all working through our own personalized trauma and struggles.
Yeah.
That's the intersection that we're talking about, that, you know, we're using this term, but, you know, when you talk about a Black gay man, there is an intersectionality there. They try to use it as a feministic term, but ultimately there is an intersection of discrimination, of violence that we also endure as well from our own community, from the Black gay community, from the Black community. So I believe that we always have to keep in mind that we sit in an intersection where it's not about choosing, it's about what are you passionate about or what do you want to see? And that's the most important thing. I believe that when it comes down to healing the Black man, I believe it starts with that individualized self, and we have to think about brokenness, and we have to be able to acknowledge trauma in order to look at it. I believe that,
Yeah.
and that's never ever an ending story. It's ongoing work. Just
Right.
with some of the clients I'm working with, I'm making history right now. Right now, I have majority male clients, and
Right.
a lot of the stuff that we're working through is toxic masculinity that was placed upon them from women who believe that manhood is tied to success, wealth, stability.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not tied to dealing with your emotions. So one of my male clients said today, hey, I'm crying to my girl about something that I'm dealing with. And she's like, well, you a man, why you crying about it? And he said, the moment I wanted to open up, I was pushed back into this space where I'm supposed to be a man. And then he said, this came from a woman who didn't grow up with a father, so her only perception of what a man is stability. So when we talk about toxic masculinity, and you hear that a lot in the LGBTQ community, particularly with trans women, but there's a lot of cisgender women that are pushing that agenda on young men and young boys where they're being pushed this idea based on what a woman's perception of what that's supposed to look like. So here we are, we're unpacking brokenness. And then these people are becoming fathers. These people have to function. These people have to navigate emotion and go through all of these dynamics. And then it's like, okay, wait a minute. You didn't tell me to cry. You didn't teach me how to cry. You didn't teach me how to be upfront and honest about things. So we got to mend brokenness and identify the problem first. And this is what I tell everybody. The change that you want to see in people, it starts with you.
Yes.
What you expect from others, you got to be able to put that forth within self. There's a lot of Black men dealing with anxiety and depression who are masking anxiety and depression through sex, through marijuana, through other drugs,
alcohol,
through hypermasculinity, but in reality, they're bearing their emotions. There's a lot of gay men who are marketing their shame through sexual exploits, through all kind of dynamics for which they feel empowered over, but in reality, they're broken on the inside. And I'm not here to slut shame anybody or shame them for their sexual ideologies. The reality of it is this: if we were to identify outside of you claiming a title, oh, I'm what is it, poly, but then you broken every time you bring somebody in a relationship. That says something really heavy about you.
Yes.
And unfortunately with these millennials, I don't know how old y'all are, but I'm well in my 40s. Unfortunately with these millennials, they love titles, but then they don't know how to function under the title. I came from I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Like, we didn't like titles. You know what I'm saying? These kids are like, oh, I'm poly, I'm non-binary, I'm polyamorous, all this stuff, but then they don't understand the dynamics that go with it. But in reality, they're just marketing their own level of shame and lack of understanding of self. And I'm not saying there's no such thing as poly and whatever you identify as. The point that I'm trying to make is this: dig deep into the brain of a person who's quick to sleep around, spread the tea, drag somebody on social media, read people on social media. They tend to have the most broken spirit. And so I always tell people, how you mend Black male brokenness is to mend self, and that mending will lead you to mend somebody else. And we all doing the work. Because my shit can, let me tell you something. I'm a therapist Monday through Friday. And on Saturdays, I want to do some bald-headed whole shit too. But guess what? I can't. You know what I'm saying?
But Joe, you said so much. Listen, Jojo, you got this fan club in here going, say, "Speak, Jojo, come on, tell the truth." And then Dante, come on, Dante, But that's the whole truth, because we as Black men have never been given the permission to live.
Right.
We've never been given permission to live. There's been so much that we've been fighting within ourselves, not having role models. I share this all the time. I grew up in a domestic violent household. So for 16 years, all I knew was my father beating my mother. And then when I tried to stand up, he started beating me. So my perception of manhood was very skewed because I did not want to be anything like him.
Right.
And so I learned how to be passive aggressive very quickly. And that's something I struggle with, even being a business owner. That I see my own therapist is like, okay, are you being passive aggressive in that? Are you stating what you really mean, and are you meaning what you really say in that? Are you just not dealing with that childhood trauma that you have not quite resolved yet? So Deon, how do we help Black men get past some of the trauma, get past? So many of us have not had fathers in our lives, but for those who had fathers in their life, maybe like mine, he didn't know how to be a father because he says, well, you should be happy that you even know who your father is. I can't help that you did not know your father. You know, at this point, I'm like, well, hell, I might as well not even know who you are if this is where you want to be. Right. But Deon, how do we help Black men get past a lot of, or even begin to identify that we need help?
So I'm just going to add to a number of the great things that these brothers have already said. First of all, I'm grateful that my practice is experiencing an explosion of Black men who are coming. They're coming into
they
therapy.
Are.
Some of them are self-motivated. You know, some are motivated by friends or family member or significant others. So they are coming. And
right.
I'm sure you've also had this happen. Many people who have found me, they come in, you know, after the first or second session, they've said, you know, I really, you know, searched for you. You know, checked various search engines and websites. Or I told my family member, if I'm going to go, I want to talk to a male.
Yep.
Talk to a male who looks like me.
Yes.
Who I don't have to explain a lot of stuff to concerning Black life and Black culture.
Cultural competency.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I do, I have you know, in my initial session, you know, in school, we were taught a biopsychosocial, but I do a biopsychosocial spiritual with my clients.
Okay.
And I add that component in because I want to get a sense of their spiritual foundation, if any, or lack thereof, with just their belief system, because that helps me understand how they view the world.
Yeah.
With that being said, I also let my clients know that I am a very human, touchable therapist. So we will create a treatment plan and focus on their goals and their struggles and their problems. But we, you know, therapy with me is also open in a very human way.
Yes.
To talk about anything within reason, from politics, sports, the weather,
yes,
superheroes, you know, anything.
Right.
So just allowing that sacred space, that therapeutic space, an hour for men who have trouble, trauma, fear, brokenness, anxiety, anger, to be able to openly and honestly communicate that. So I challenge all of my clients. I have an exercise at the beginning for everybody, but I challenge all of my clients, particularly my Black men have become pretty good and helps with their relationships. I challenge my clients in helping them tap into their emotional intelligence. Okay, let's look at the first domain of emotional intelligence, your own personal awareness. So you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling angry, you're feeling disappointed, you're feeling trouble. Okay, that's great. Now that needs to be communicated. So I'm going to work on good communication skills. You know, I'm going to teach you how to use iMessages and other communicative methods to help you communicate to friends, family, or loved ones. I think just you know, as Black men are starting to come in individual therapy, and we have more forums and settings like this, I'm seeing a tide turning. And so I think, when Black men encounter particularly a Black male therapist who can connect and relate to them, I really think that's when the rivers will start to open.
Totally agree. And you got both you and Joseph has definitely said the same thing. Hell, Donta could be a therapist too in this, but I keep trying to talk him into that, but he said no. But I'm with you. I've had more Black male referrals from Black men in the past 5 months than I have in 4 years of doing my private practice. Yep. And I'm like you, Joseph. I think all of my patients right now are Black men, with the exception of maybe 6, which is unheard of. It's unheard of, and I'm with you, Dan. I think we are slowly turning this tide. That's why I love having this conversation. Go ahead, Joseph. No, you interrupt. That's all good. Please.
I want to say this. I am enamored with black men. I grew up with a patriarch, so majority of the people in my family are men, and so I was taught to. My grandfather told me, who tells me this consistently. My granddaddy's 91. Thank God, thank the Lord I have him. And he says to me, Joe, always support your brothers. Always look out for black men. Try to lift them up and guide them because someone did that. So while people are sitting up on social media, and I have no problem with how you identify yourself, and for the black feminist, I want to say this. I'm seeing posts talking about, oh, this year we're divesting in black men. And when I see stuff like that, and you telling the world that your answer comes from another racialized group. But like I said to her, and like I say to a lot of people on social media, because I got into a banter with one of them, I said, instead of divesting in black men, why don't you divest in those unrealistic thoughts that you think that somebody's going to have?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So instead of divesting in that, divest in the fact that you got a lot of shit that you ain't managed through yet, and you think that somebody will be your end all be all. Same with the black gay men. Oh, we're not dealing with black men this year because they all doing this and they all doing that. Baby, well, clearly you were in the room doing it too. So let's talk about you in the situation. So I'm thinking that when I see this influx of black men that are coming to therapy, all by choice, not because of a marriage, not because of whatever. They just wanted someone to talk to. It lets you know that there's a vulnerable space. And by the time we look up, not that I have any expectations of any black man, besides the fact that they should be loving and care for themselves and care for what they are connected to. The point that I'm trying to make is this. While people sitting up on social media talking about ain't this and this ain't here and this ain't there, baby, you gonna miss out because a king is being developed. And unfortunately, you gonna be one of them chicks looking from afar, upset when his brother walk in the room and his new self and his emotionally intelligent self, you know. And like I tell all my clients, by the time I get done, by the time we get done with the work, you're gonna become that bomb ass black man you ever thought about becoming. And then they're always like this. Yeah, and they're always like this. Damn, and I'm like, so what do you define it as a bomb ass black man? I mean, I got a car, I got this, I got that. I said, listen, I'm gonna take all that away from you. Just say none of that stuff exists. What makes you a bomb ass black man? They can't figure it out. And that's gay and straight. So now we have to start creating definition for what that is. Outside of the physical things, if I was to take all that away from you, what's there? What's important? There's no money, there's no cars, there's no houses. What's there? And it's just you. So what's important? And then that's the point of the work right there. So now we need to fill in those spaces as to what that looks like. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So it's all about uplifting one another. And like I say, we're doing this together. I'm still trying to figure it out. And to the doctor, I just want to say this, baby. To the doctor. The difference between me and you is the fact that I went to school to learn theory on how to do this. The reality is that you are doing therapeutic work.
That's right.
Coaching, leading, guiding people. And that's what I do. And that's what my brother right here do. And that's what my brother right here does. And so understand that there's a responsibility that comes with that. And know that you're put in that position. You're working that position out. You're beautiful. You're attractive. You know, so walk in that space. You smiling at somebody is going to heal them. So continue to do the work. If you're not a therapist, you're a coach. You better claim something before somebody else. Take what you do, put a title on it, and then
right.
So do it now.
You heard it here live on the Mental Health Matters with Marty. Come on, JoJo. Tell them what we got to do. That's right. That's right.
But here's my thing that
title before somebody else do it.
This is what I want to ask, and I talk to Marty about this constantly. Yeah. Oftentimes when we try to navigate these spaces for men to gather, for men to come together and have that village setting, you know, no matter what we try to do it, you know, I'm trying to say this the right way. It seems like it seems like men are scared to open up because they have to go back home to a certain kind of woman.
Right.
You know, and it seems like the a lot of times when I talk to my brothers that they're like, yeah, I want to be this kind of dude, but the ladies don't want that. The ladies don't want this, you know, and I know that on the thread, whenever we have these live conversations, we get an influx of women that are commenting, that are loving the conversation. And my queens, I love you. Thank you for always riding with us.
Right.
But I want to know, are women making it safe for men to go through the work to find, like what JoJo said, to become this bomb-ass man? You know, and do women know what a bomb-ass man looks like?
Well,
so that's yes.
But what happens is, I think that we all saying this, we don't know how. One, we have too much self-hatred that's going on because we have not learned how to love ourselves and love the strengths that we have within each and every one of us. I believe that we all have and I'm gonna say that we all have a God-given talent that's within us that makes room for us as we grow, but we don't know how to nurture it. We don't know how to appreciate it, and we definitely don't know how to grow it in that regard. So how do we do that? I have this couple out here in Southern Cal, out in the IE.
Marty, JoJo want to cut you off again.
Go ahead, JoJo. Jump right in. You just cut me off. Go ahead, JoJo. Jump in.
We use this term. We overuse and we misuse this term. And brothers, y'all already know. We see this a lot on social media. The word narcissism and narcissistic.
I wish someone would really know the definition of that.
Yeah, and I'm always shooting that down. But I will say this. There are a lot of people addicted to themselves and meeting their own needs, which prevents the person that they're dating from fully actualizing as they're trying to meet a standard for you and themselves. A young Black man who is 29 years old, who's married, who has 2 children, with his wife that he's been married to for 4 years, says every time that he tries to open up and do something amazing, the wife is like, oh, you wouldn't even have that idea if it wasn't for me. You da-da-da-da-da. And I said, wow. So because he doesn't want anybody to be right on him, he wants to feel like, man, he'll just stop doing it because he feels like she had a hand in on it. And then I had to remind him, what does she do? What are her interests? He said, besides and bundles, nothing. I said, that's the reason why she's saying that. Because her fear is that you grow within you, you're going to grow away from her. And her only thought is to maintain her family and her household. And see, that becomes problematic because you have a person who's addicted to themselves and their own needs, and they get to be a partner. Partner. Partner.
Right. Partner.
A partner. You know, so the reality of it is that when you think of a partner is going to support, uplift, guide, pull back, not put you in danger. And a lot of people are not meeting those needs. But then you hear women saying, if I was to sound like them girls from Cali, I just want a man to take care of me.
Right.
And I hate to use this language or these words, but I'm like, bitch, what are you doing to take care of yourself? Because if you in a position where you can meet yourself, if you are lifting yourself up and loving yourself properly, you're going to automatically meet the person that's going to complement that dynamic. Same with these brothers. A lot of brothers are dating women for physical reasons. And then a lot of these brothers, I hate to say it, some women are doing better than most Black men. So they end up moving in with her. They end up building a home in her space. So when it's all said and done, it's systemic because there's a lot of systemic racism. They put brothers in positions where they can't get out. They're creating dynamics where you then become dependent upon a woman, right? But guess what, though? I have about 5 clients that moved in with the girl, got themselves together, and moved out.
Right.
That's what I was going to say. Yep. That part right there is what I was going to say, because we always hear women say, you need to go talk to somebody. You need to go get help. You need to go get yourself together. Then when he go do it and he come back, he ain't the same brother, you know, that you first met. And now he looking at you like, oh, you're broken. Is something wrong with you because we didn't do this as a partnership. We didn't work together to better the relationship it was always tilted. And now that he is whole, or he's that badass brother, you know, he looked at her like, I know who I am. I went and did the work, Ayanla. You know, and then I come back home to you, the one that pushed me to go there, and you sitting there waiting on me to buy you a new bag and whatnot. And I realized that's not what
like you're waiting on a bag. You're waiting on a bag, and like I say, brothers, listen to me. And I'm gonna say this. I'm not sure if you guys are dealing with this in you guys' practices and in you guys' interfacing. There are a lot of beautiful, attractive, gorgeous, wonderful, straight and gay Black men who struggle with self-esteem. I'm talking about
and self-identity. Yes.
So their esteem is directly correlated with what they drive and how big their dick is, or how much money they got in their pocket. But like I said, if I was to take that away from you, what do you have?
Right.
And so at that point, I can't imagine what that looks like. All of them say that. Like even with these gay boys, oh, my ass is fat and my waistline is small. I'm like, baby, that ass is gonna drop in that waistline. Gonna get real wide one day.
Trust me.
Cute on you. Right? You know what I'm saying? But the reality of it is that we're not talking about Black men and self-esteem, because Black men, there will be a day when you walk in the room and you won't nobody look in your direction. There will be a day when you say something and nobody wants to hear what you have to say because you're too old. So what are you going to do when you get to that time period in your life? Are you going to build yourself up? Because yes, we've learned how to heal from broken people. And I'm not going to put it all on women. We've learned how to heal from our mamas, our fathers, our grandparents. You've got people who have lost people. They don't talk about it. You got people who lost over 5 people in their family from COVID and no one's talked about it.
Right. There's so much trauma, and it's complicated trauma.
And it's layered. It's just layered.
You expect me to sit in a relationship. You expect me to sit in a relationship and have a sit down with you during dinner to talk about my feelings?
And let me jump in there with
please
this.
Go ahead.
Because I do some couples work, and it is very detrimental for a man if he is starting to be open and honest, and he's doing the work of therapy, and he's learning to tap into his emotional intelligence. You know, he's working in therapy, he's doing role playing, he's learning communication skills, and he opens up to the person he is with and honestly communicates, and those emotions get disregarded.
Yes.
Put to the side. That can cause him to go back into a cave and say, I'm not going to tell you anything else.
Talk, yes.
I'm not going to talk to you about any of my other feelings at all. One of my clients recently said to me, and I had to have a separate session with him away from the couple. He said, see, I talk to my buddies all the time. Black men in this society and world, we just can't win. We just can't express ourselves. So I had to pull him to the side later and help him kind of work through that. But I've worked with several couples where the woman or the guy that they were with, it was very dangerous for them to emotionally share their feelings, and because they felt so disrespected and disregarded, and it took a lot to get them to try again, to open up again.
Yeah, that's so true. One of my dear friends, and they're a married couple that does couples therapy, and she looks at the woman and said this as your husband has to have a soft pillow to come home to every night, and you have to be that pillow. You have to rub his head. You have to comfort him. You have to help build his self-esteem. You have to give him permission to talk. Right.
Bring the word.
Rub both heads.
Right. Exactly. Right. And listen, we got to be able to talk about that and talk about frustrations and talk about. Listen, y'all have had so many. I won't just try and hit a couple of them. My girl Trinity Wallace, who is absolutely amazing. Trinity, I got to have you on the show because every time you share your story, folks break down. I'm gonna go with her comment that she says, I also had to learn exactly what JoJo is speaking on. I thought I needed him to save me when I always had to save myself. Come on, Trinity, and speak the truth. The greatest lesson I learned was he shouldn't have to save me. I love me. Loving me enabled me the love my man so much deeper with that. Right. And I love that. There was another comment that says, women, we too need to go to therapy in that. So listen, oh my goodness, y'all blowing up the phones and blowing up the lines here. But this is so true. Once we learn, here's a question. It says, if we aren't married, should we be doing the work to make them whole, or is this something to be done individually? Ooh, I'm gonna throw it out to Deon, and then I'll throw it out to Joseph.
Oh, great! I was gonna say, and I think I understand the context of the question. So, some of the I don't do a lot of couples work because it's couples work, but I do.
It's exhausting, but I love couples.
Yeah, I do some. I do some. I have several couples who are not married, and they are dating, but it's a serious relationship now.
Right.
The one particular couple that I'm thinking of that I work with, the woman in the relationship, because of some of her childhood issues and growing up, she is, in addition to them seeing me together once every 2 weeks, she is doing some of her own individual therapy work. The male in this particular situation is not, but plenty of couples do come into counseling either individually or corporately, and they're dating or serious, and they're not married. So it's okay so it is okay to go to therapy to do some of your individual work in reference to a relationship or just yourself.
Jojo, what do you think? Should they do it now, later, or not at all?
Do it now. Do it now. I'm doing couples counseling with couples that are not married.
Right.
Clearly, the relationship has caused a trigger between them and their emotions. Clearly, there's something in the relationship that has triggered something within them, and they both made a conscious decision to come and talk. I cannot turn them away. And even if the relationship doesn't work, they make that decision right then and there. I believe that it's beautiful. My male client actually brought his partner, his female partner, of whom he's not married to therapy. And you know what we did? I got one of my filmmaker friends to kind of do some editing, and we played a scene from Queen and Slim. On the film Queen and Slim, he said, "What are you looking for?" She said, the guy said, "I just want somebody to hold my hand through everything." And the girl said, "I want a man to love me where I start to recognize scars within myself that I didn't know existed."
Yes.
And he's not healing my scars. He's holding my hand while I heal myself. And see, we have to think like that. Not that he can't heal you, but guess what? He's there while I'm in the process. You know what I'm saying? And see, that's why a lot of men run away, because some of them have not been actualized emotionally. Which makes them run from emotions. You got a lot of deadbeat dads who just couldn't deal with the emotions. That's all.
Yes.
And it's that simple. And when they look back, it's just like, God damn, you missed all these years, bruh. When in fact, girl was just emotional. You just didn't know how to do it. Some of the baddest chicks in the club with the lace front with balding edges got emotional issues.
Listen.
The prettiest girls that you see on Instagram ain't got no edges because they wearing them lace front wigs. So guess what? She's gonna take that wig off, and that's a metaphor. She's going to take that wig off, and you're going to see the trueness of who she is. And I tell all my female clients, men like scented candles too. That's a metaphor. But I say men like scented candles. That means that they want somebody to hold them up. They want somebody to love on them. They want somebody to make them feel like warm and special. I'm not talking about spending money. Make him feel like you care about him and he feels something. But y'all failing to do that. And I'm going to say this. I know your mama told you and your grandma told you that your vagina is everything, but guess what? It's a girl that's selling it for $2 or giving it away for free around the corner who look better than you.
That's why I couldn't wait to have you on the show, JoJo.
So you run around, you're thinking this, that, and the third, you need to buy me this Birkin bag. Baby, don't get upset when you met a nigga in front of the liquor store selling loose cigarettes, and you thinking because you having a baby now that he gonna pull thousands of dollars out of his pocket, baby. You met him on the block. And your love and your vagina and everything else is not gonna put money in him. But guess what though? If he's about that life, he's gonna do what he needs to do for you and his family, but more so for his family, and you support that. So stop being unrealistic about these situations. I got a male client who told me his girl feels like the men on Love and Hip Hop are real men because they let their wives do whatever and they just there to support them. And I said, you are aware that that's scripted reality? And they're like, what's that? I'm like, that means that they'll put me and you in a room.
Yes.
They'll tell us what the situation is and we'll just act it out. And if we start fighting,
yes,
you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So they don't get that. They don't get that. So we have to back past the BS that's even circulating on social media. Everything is a cap that we're looking at. Everybody's capping. Everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love this conversation.
And
Money doesn't buy us happiness.
Right. I mean, I love Sierra. I think she's beautiful. I'm going to let the little light-skinned couple live. With all due respect to my light-skinned people, Marty, and you know, the doctor, I'm going to let y'all live. But I will say
Caramel.
The cute little caramel. But you know, look at what they're celebrating though. You got Sierra, whose husband's buying her mom house, buying her albums, doing this, adopting her child. That is the single mother's dream with a deadbeat dad. So can you see what is selling to the public? That ain't real. I'm not saying that relationship's not real, but most of that is not real because they're posting the great moments. So this is what we got to unpack. Or when you see that lovely gay couple online, this cute little sexy gay couple online, and they get proposed to, and he got his little gay finger out, putting his ring finger on and everything. And then you look up 3 years later and they on Jack when you show up to Atlanta, having different boys. You know what I'm saying? It's a fake idea. You know what I'm saying? So Erykah Badu says it best. One day he gonna say, you crowding my space. One day he gonna walk away, and what you gonna do? One day he's gonna say something and reveal it to you in your face. How you gonna handle that? One day you gonna walk in the room and ain't nobody gonna look at you. So when she says pack light, that means that every so often we gotta open up that bag and pull out the unnecessary items. So I want people to think about this who are watching, because this video is gonna move.
Right.
What are the items that you're holding on to that you're refusing to let go, black man? What are the items that you're refusing to let go, black woman? The things that have broken you. You got people 40 years old complaining about a dude that cheated on them when they was 21. You 6 years before you turned 21, you were still playing with Barbie dolls, young lady. Right. And now you talking about marriage and this, that, and the third. Yeah, you ran around because he didn't understand what a relationship was. So now you 48 years old, still holding on to what happened when you was 21. What items do you need to let go?
And we all have.
He had a baby. I'm sorry. I keep going. I'm sorry.
No. You listen. I want to be a man of my word. I promise y'all just 1 hour because I know Donta got a show coming up. And if you don't, definitely JoJo, you got to check his out. Donta, you got to have JoJo on. Deon, I cannot thank you enough. Real quick, how do we get a hold of y'all? For folks who don't know how to get a hold of you with that, JoJo, I'm gonna start with you. How do we follow your amazing? You got a show coming on tonight, later on tonight too.
No, I haven't been on in several months. I actually just completed my book, so I'm revealing.
Talk to us about your book. Yes, thank you.
It's going to be a lot of anecdotes and beautiful things for people to be healed, delivered, and set free. There is some allegory in it. There is some storytelling, which I love to do. And so there's a lot of great spaces in there. I was going to do a full publish, but I pulled my book and I'm self-publishing because I didn't want anybody editing my words. And as a black man, I don't ever want to change or shift things. So I want to heal, deliver, and set free all people. And so I am going to be starting back the Misunderstood Social Worker Nightly Reflection on Facebook on Thursdays, starting in March. So I got a photo shoot on Friday. So I will be coming back. I haven't been on in like 3 months. And you can find me on Facebook, Misunderstood Social Worker. You can find me on Instagram, the Misunderstood SW, Twitter, all points in between. And we should be having the show very soon. And I'm going to be getting married tomorrow. So I'm just playing. I'm joking.
I was like, wait a minute. Joseph, okay, you're gonna have a launch party for your book and everything. You gotta have something like that.
Yes, I will. I'm definitely gonna be having a launch party. And the goal this year is to connect more with my black male therapists, and I just want to connect with black men. And so, Marty, I want to say thank you for inspiring me and keeping me in a space of happiness. You are one of the most beautiful men I've ever seen in my life. And so I just feel, just by you even offering me this space here. Thank you so much. And I'm glad to be amongst my people right now. Deon, Donta, I'm just happy to be here with you guys, and I feel blessed to be here. And I'm excited about connecting with all of you guys.
Yeah, JoJo, I've been following you for a long time, and I was scared to ask, because I want to be like, okay, who this Negro in my DM? Everybody trying to hit on you. I'm like, look, bro, I just like what you do. I'm not trying to have you, nothing like that. Just do what you do.
Now,
I want to make sure.
Look, for anybody in my DM, baby, I'm single. Holla at me. If you better come with that book, holla at me.
That's why I love JoJo.
I need a nerd that's into anime, that likes to skateboard like me, that listens to Erykah Badu, and we can make beautiful music together.
I love you. Love it. Deon, how can we get a hold of you? How can we follow you, man?
Sure. I can be followed on Instagram at _DMV therapist, _DMV therapist. And I'm also on Twitter, DMV therapist. Facebook, just my name, Deon Brown. In addition, one of the things that I do every month, I do a IG broadcast called an integrated approach.
Yes.
Where I integrate various topics around mental health and spirituality, and usually bring in a guest. So this upcoming Friday at 8 p.m., myself and a female therapist, we're going to be talking about pandemic anxiety, vaccination anxiety, myths and facts.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Deon, thank you again, man. I appreciate you always coming out and being on the show. Donta, my boy, my ninja, how can we always get a hold of you?
So people, you can follow me on Facebook, Donta Morrison, DONTA. You can follow me on Instagram, Donta_Morrison. You can follow me on YouTube, youtube.com/Donta Morrison. Every Monday and Tuesday night on Facebook Live and YouTube, I host the Donta Show, which is a very interactive and engaging conversation with myself and my co-host, Dana. We talk about issues really affecting the Black community. I am Black first. I love building up the Black community, talking about all things Black. I do leaders, educators, thinkers, activists. I mean, the whole gamut. I cover it all. So if anybody wants to be a guest on the Donta Show, you can just hit me up in my inbox. We can talk about it. Reach out to the company that manages my show, pyromedianetwork.com. We can do that. But check me out tonight, 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, right here on Facebook Live or YouTube, and you can be part of the village, as we call ourselves. So Marty, thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. I love chopping it up with my fellow kings, and we're just really building it and making it all happen. So this was a great experience, but everybody, follow me, Donta Morrison on Facebook, Donta Morrison on YouTube, and let's do some work. Let's get to work.
And Donta, you have books already that you published. How do we get a hold of your books and the titles of your books?
Hey, just go to my website, DontaMorrison.com. I have 2 books out there based upon my life experiences, but they're filled with all kind of smut. So if you like to read smutty novels, full of sex and all kind of seedy behavior, this was all my pre-doctorate writing. This was a master's degree. I was a basic bachelor degree having person when I wrote these books. I said, let me talk about my life and what I've been through, and it has definitely been a journey. So I am a minister of the gospel. But when you read my books, you say, this dude preaches. I wasn't a preacher when I wrote the books. I'm gonna say that. All right? It's a disclaimer. So if you like reading smut, just go ahead and get my book. JoJo, I'm gonna bless you with a book. Inbox me your address. I'm gonna give you a book. I don't think I caught your Facebook thing, Joe. So I'll get.
Oh, you gotta catch it. You gotta catch it.
Yeah, I'll bless you my books, JoJo. You can read all about the smut that I went through.
Listen, baby. Listen. I tell the story. This is what somebody said about me recently when I was in Atlanta. They said, Joe, you would tell a really beautiful sexual story, compare it to food, and then judge the people after they felt horny. But I followed all of you guys. I just followed you, Deon. You got Black Therapist Matter shirt on, and I just followed you, Donta. So I want to stay connected. This year is all about connecting with my people. Even if you don't accept the request, I'll be following. It is what it is.
That's right.
I got you.
Let me know if you need me to do anything. I'll come on the show. whatever. I'll give you some information. I would love to be part. I want to connect more with my brothers. And so thank you.
Yes, see,
Thank
Donta.
you, Paula.
Listen, Paula is the woman. If you need any, Paula got more connections. Paula, Jojo. I'm about to speak to Voya Financing because of Paula on this coming Thursday, doing Black mental health for Voya Finance Group. I'm like, what? And let me tell you this: they already sent me the check. So now I got to show out.
I want Paula to follow me. Can Paula follow me?
Everybody ain't fair. Everybody ain't fair.
Me on Facebook is Joseph Williams. Follow me, Paula.
Did you guys find me on IG? Because I can't find you.
Hold on, I'm looking for Joseph now. Joseph, you on Facebook?
So I'm gonna close out the show, y'all. But y'all.
This is a great conversation.
Yes, but anyway, listen, as always, I want to thank you guys for joining us for another wonderful and exciting show on Mental Health Matters with Marty. I can't thank my guests enough, y'all. Listen, follow them, buy their product, do everything. We are so glad. Listen, again, much love to JoJo, much love to Deon, much love to Dante, and for the Mac in the back, none other than D. Mitch. We appreciate you. Follow me again on Mental Health Matters with Marty, and check out my website at Mental Health Marty, where you will find your wonderful mental health and wellness merchandise to support you in this mental health journey. As I say every week, check out my Facebook, podcast. I'm dropping a new episode of my podcast coming up on this coming Wednesday. I'm talking about with my three of my best friends there about the role of our dads in our lives and how it has affected us as being fathers in our own lives. But as I say every week, we have to stop the stinking thinking that has plagued us for so long so that you do not have to continue to suffer in silence in the shadow of shame. But as I always say, it's time for us to speak up, speak out, and live. And always remember to enjoy your life.